Certain Affinity has something up their sleeves, Sega is working on something super, and Age of Empires 2 is getting some new content. We have a lot of Wololo to talk about on this week's episode of the Campfire Gaming Podcast. Hello and welcome to the Campfire Gaming Podcast. Thanks for joining us this week. My name is Matt. I will be your host tonight. Joining me is the illustrious Rich. Rich, how are you doing?
I'm good. You're stealing my words. You need a thesaurus, my dude.
No, I copy, right?
You just copy and paste.
Yep.
Oh.
So, yeah. Come on, I'm not smart enough to come up with my own words. I hear them from somebody else smarter, and then I use them to make myself look smarter. But anyways.
Well, thank you.
But anyways, as we said, thanks for joining us. This week's episode is packed with a lot of really good stuff, a bunch of news from Sega's super games, some information on what certain Affinity might be working on, and some really cool Age of Empires 2 information, a 20-year-old game. So we're excited to talk about that. But before we get into that, we just want to remind you to check out our bonus series that we've been putting out kind of midweek. That's from our main episode here, covering the Halo TV series. We Rich, myself, and Heather chat about our thoughts. We try to stay positive, but we chat about our thoughts on the Halo TV series. So
we're very candid. We don't, we're not pulling punches when it comes to the Halo TV show.
As with everything Halo we do on this channel, we don't hate it. We know it can be better, right? We love it, but go check it out. It's good stuff. Also, check out our website, campfiregamingpodcast.com, where you can find links to all our socials like Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, as well as a link to our Discord. Come join our Discord. Come chat with us. We have a lot of fun conversations during the week when we aren't podcasting. So we'd love to have you.
Yes, we would.
But without further ado, let's hop in to the meat and potatoes of the episode.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited to talk about some of this stuff. This is gonna funny enough. We were talking about not taking it out too hard on Halo, but we actually do have some Halo stuff to talk about, and most of it's actually kind of good news.
Yeah, some positive stuff.
Yeah, it's actually some positive stuff. So it's not going to be a shitting on Halo episode.
Yeah, I mean, we could always find a way, but let's not. Let's stay positive.
Yeah, no.
Stay positive.
We'll do that next episode or something. Oh no, next week is the book club.
Yeah, so 2 weeks from now, we can get back to our regularly scheduled
dumping on Halo.
Yeah. But yeah, well, let's just jump right into it then. We'll jump into the Halo news here. So this week we had Certain Affinity, which has been a studio that honestly has been helping out with a lot of Halo stuff for, I think, since it was probably founded. If my memory serves me.
I don't remember when they were founded.
Yeah, well, about 15 years ago. So
well, there you go.
So they came out this week saying that they're kind of deepening their relationship with Microsoft. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see what they mean by that. We already know that they are working on a new mode for Halo Infinite that will hopefully get discussed soon. We don't know what that is. That the popular rumor is that it'll be a battle royale, but we'll have to see. But yeah, no. So it basically they've been working on Halo a lot, and they're going to be creating new modes for Infinite, as well as taking on a bigger role in assisting 343. So that's going to be interesting to see. Like, are they going to be helping kind of get Halo Infinite up to par, or are they going to be doing more of these maybe like game modes, this codenamed Tatanka thing that they're doing for Infinite, or if they'll be making other Halo experiences? So it'll be interesting to kind of see what their role is here, helping Microsoft in this bigger role that they're going to have.
Right. And I mean, I think that's I think some people have dug into a little bit more of what Project Tatanka actually is. Not only is it a word that means bison or buffalo, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But there's actually people are, you get a lot of speculation when you have code names that are leaked like this, and um, a lot of people are saying that it has to do with there's a wrestler, like a WWE wrestler named Tatanka,
Okay.
and one of the big events that he won was a 40-person battle royale. So, you know,
Oh,
there you go. It kind of lends more credence that there could be a battle royale in the works. I know that like this is kind of I don't know if this is like a hot take. I think by and large a lot of people would actually be pretty okay with Halo getting a battle royale, but
hmm,
you kind of wonder is like um it's the execution that is really going to be up in the air to see if they actually can deliver.
yeah.
I mean, to be fair, like certain Affinity, they were the reason why those Master Chief Collection cutscenes were so incredible, right?
Well, that was Blur Studio.
Oh,
They were the
Blur. No, that was Blur. But they did
they
help a lot with the Master Chief Collection as well.
they had their hand in, I believe, all the Halo 2 anniversary maps, which looked amazing.
Really, really good. Yeah.
Those were some of the best looking maps I've seen in Halo in a very long time. So yeah, so they again they've assisted on a lot of different things over the years with Halo, but Master Chief Collection and the various anniversary editions, I think they had a hand in Halo CE as well. Uh, I don't think they did the campaign stuff. I think they helped with some of the other stuff. But anyways, yeah, it's as someone who's not a fan of battle royale. I wouldn't mind and maybe even try out a Halo one. I guess my big thing
Mm-hmm.
with all of this rumor going on, it's been a rumor for a very long time, is
Right.
I'd rather it be, my thoughts are, okay, it's kind of inevitable that we're going to get a Halo battle royale. To me, it's going to
Yeah.
happen, right?
And I
My
mean, I
thing
think
was my thing was I didn't want 343 doing it as part of Infinite. I wanted 343 to focus on a campaign and a good multiplayer, and maybe in this situation have another studio work on it, or just make it a whole new project that's kind of separate from Halo Infinite. Halo Battle Royale. I don't know, whatever you want to call it, right? So,
right. No, and I get you. Like I think that it has been discussed quite a bit at length even since Halo Infinite's launch, is that a lot of the you'll get a lot of takes from pro players and streamers and people like that who will say things like the game is going to die without a battle royale, or the fact that it doesn't have a battle royale right away is going to
hmm,
be hugely detrimental, mainly because yeah, like the current fad right now is battle royales. With you look at some of the top games that are being played on Steam, or some of the top games that are streamed, it's what Call of Duty Warzone, Apex Legends, Fortnite,
yep,
like that's where the trend is, right?
correct.
But at the same time, yeah, you kind of have to wonder, is trend chasing kind of a good thing for Halo, or does it have to really just nail down its core? And I think that's kind of where a lot of the debate right now is when it comes to battle royale. That like I think a lot of people are actually pretty fine with there being a battle royale, but at the same time, I think Halo Infinite needs love in a lot of different places,
Hmm.
because it's not a product that necessarily, it's a game that never really catered specifically to one particular type of audience. It really encompassed a lot of
Yeah,
different types of players, whether they be forgers, people who make maps, or like making the crazy weird custom games and things like that, or you have the sweaties, like all the MLG and pro circuit crowd, or you just have people who just achievement hunt, and they love playing the campaign over and over and over, and
yeah.
they have you got to play that co-op and legendary co-op and speed runners and things like that. Like there's a lot that Halo has to offer for a lot of different types of gamers, and I think that adding in a battle royale, while it would be really good, isn't, I think, the only thing that will keep Halo from
Hmm.
floundering. Especially like if you have a battle royale that doesn't compete well with other battle royales. I mean, I've been playing a lot of Apex Legends, lately,
Yeah,
and I mean, I've been loving it mainly because I love like the high pace, like the fast paced movement, and the the sliding, and the the very frantic combat that ends up having to worry about your positioning and things like that. If Halo doesn't find its niche in that sort of a game mode, it doesn't matter if it has a battle royale or not, it's going to flounder, right? Like
Yeah,
a battle royale doesn't guarantee you success. Otherwise, radical aces would still exist.
yeah. I, I I think there's a lot of potential though with a Halo battle royale. I mean, again,
Absolutely.
just kind of thinking about it myself, things that potentially could get me to try it out at least, other than it being a Halo game, is
Mhm.
like if you're not an ODST, then you're already doing it wrong, right? You know
Right, or you
what
don't come
better
in a
way to
pod.
yeah, what better way drop yeah, I guess you could be a Spartan, drop it in, but I think being an ODST would kind of be a better idea. But anyways, drop it in a pod, right? Drop in hot. That'd be so awesome. Maybe have some vehicles littered around. I know that might be a little bit of a kind of a change to pace of other battle royales, but having like some scorpions or ghosts around, and then yeah, and then having it could be literally like some really well, it could be Halo with a couple of your kind of collision on the map of different uh, biomes, and because
Mhm.
I think a lot of the maps in the battle royales, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't play a lot of them, but there are kind of different. There are parts of the map that are distinct from other parts, right? So
Yeah. Yep.
you could have kind of all that on a Halo ring, and again, what better thing is as far as like a circle getting smaller is the map is slowly getting taken over by flood, right? I mean, like and it's squeezing you into the last little, and if you go out too far, outside the ring, you start getting attacked by the flood, right? So to me, there's a lot of good kind of fit into the lore and fit into just Halo in general way of making a battle royale that could have me kind of interested to give it a try. So again, I don't think it'd be a bad idea. It's just 343 needs to focus on making Halo Infinite a good, Forge good, co-op good, the what am I the match not the match the ranked stuff good for all you sweaties out there, right? So uh you know again, not against it, but I was always against 343 doing it. Just focus on one thing. So if Certain Affinity is working on something here, I'd be interested for, again, two reasons: that Halo and because it's Certain Affinity and they do good work.
Right. And I mean, I think you nailed it right on the head too, is that I think one of the best decisions that could have been made about this was, it's a very good compromise to make sure that yeah, we are getting about that we do end up getting a battle royale in Halo Infinite to try and grab that audience. It's a whole new playing, it's a whole new type of game that people love to play, and Halo has always been a great game for customizing and tailor making your play to fit. You can fit Halo in all sorts of different kinds of boxes.
Hmm.
And I think the fact that Certain Affinity is would be taking over something like this is really really a good idea, because now 343 can focus on making sure that campaign co-op is getting in there, Forge is getting in there, the other major pillars of Halo Infinite that are missing, you know are probably being worked on, day and night kind of a thing right now.
Yeah.
So I think yeah, that's probably the best thing that could happen, is that you have a longtime partner of Halo, Certain Affinity, doing something extra extra special for Halo Infinite.
Yeah, no, I if that's what they're working on, I think that'll be
Cool. Yeah.
great.
Yeah. We'd have to see. We don't know. I don't think we have a date yet on when Certain Affinity is going to announce what the hell they've been working on with Halo, but that's where the speculation is currently, is that it is in fact, people are speculating that it is going to be a battle royale
I'm
style.
I'm guessing whatever equivalent to E3 showcase Microsoft is doing is when we'll hear about this,
You think so?
because these rumors have been going on to me too long, that it's got to be pretty darn close to seeing the light of day, or at least an announcement. Maybe it's not coming out this year, but you know, I would think about if it is a battle royale and it has been worked on for a few years now, that it could be announced in, again, I'm gonna just assume June. Microsoft will have their Xbox showcase, that we'll get it by fall. I could see a quick cycle there for announce and then release pretty soon after.
Yeah, and I bet that would definitely get a lot of people on board with playing Halo.
Yeah, it would buy 343 some time too to get a few of those other things into the main game as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep, I agree.
but just a little more information on Certain Infinity. They're actually also working. Again, this could be part of the kind of deepening their relationship with Microsoft, but they're supposedly working on an exclusive game for Xbox that is supposed to be Monster Hunter like. So that could
Okay.
be interesting. Uh,
Interesting.
yeah, but yeah,
We'll have to
as we
see.
learn more, we'll chat more here on the.
Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about it.
Uh, Especially too, I played was it Monster Hunter 3? That was a lot of fun. So
I've
if
never
there's a
played a Monster Hunter game ever.
I didn't get too deep into it, but it was definitely fun, kind of hunting monsters and then building, acquiring the parts to make armor, and then go take on bigger, badder things. It was fun.
Nice.
I played it with Mike too, so it's a good time. But as we said, there's a couple things, a little bit of good news here, or quite a few things of good news for Halo here. So recently, as of yesterday, Marty O'Donnell tweeted that the O'Donnell Salvatore Inc. lawsuit against Microsoft has been amicably I can't say that word, resolved.
Amicably.
Amicably resolved.
Yay.
This is exciting because
That's nice.
hopefully we start seeing more. I mean, there's already a lot of his themes and things like Halo Infinite, but hopefully this just means that we'll continue to get more of this stuff in the future. My fear was that if, depending on how bad, there's no details on this lawsuit other than uh, Marty O'Donnell and Mike Salvatore are owed a bunch of money apparently for their work from Halo
Royalties.
royalties.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, and I know when we first heard about this lawsuit, I think it was January, we chatted about that. We were a little worried that this might affect the TV show,
Mm-hmm.
which
It's
that as
possible.
which is, I mean, that's been one of my biggest complaints about the TV show is that it's it's lacking a lot of that iconic, music, sounds, things like that. And I was thinking maybe it's due to this lawsuit, and that was kind of our fear back when we last talked about this. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, if that was the case, that this is now solved and they'll be able to or resolved, and that they'll be able to use some of that music in, hopefully like season 2 of Halo TV series, and whatever other media that they're creating for Halo.
Right. So that was, I mean, yeah. So they ended up reaching a settlement, and it sounds like also that that Marty O'Donnell can actually post some of the like the behind the scenes stuff that he has. That he's just got a whole bunch of stuff left over, like on his computer, that he's been
Hmm.
sharing through like Twitter or YouTube or anything like that. And I think that was another big thing that we had talked about sometime last year, that he was getting in trouble with Microsoft or something. Like there was some legal troubles going
he
on there.
he's had his share, probably pretty darn close to, oh god, I almost 10 years now, I think, between Microsoft. Well, no, this I think this lawsuit goes back farther than 10 years, the Microsoft one. But he was recently getting in trouble with Bungie because
Hmm.
Mike Marty O'Donnell wrote a lot of the music for Destiny, and he was posting, much like he was doing for Halo, he was posting a lot of behind the scenes stuff, but getting in trouble because he doesn't own that, or there was whatever his lawsuit was when he left Bungie, like 2000, I think it was 2012. He won that lawsuit, but I think there was part of that lawsuit where he wasn't allowed, or no, he was like supposed to give up all the files of Destiny that he worked on or something like that. And then he started posting videos with some of it and getting in trouble there. So yeah, he's definitely had
He's
his
good at
share
getting
of
himself in,
lawsuits,
yeah, in legal hot water.
which I
But they're
to
so cool. But like a lot of that stuff is really cool, though.
yeah,
Like a lot of the
it's
stuff he posts is like I remember one of the earlier things that he posted was like some really ancient stuff from like, in the pre-production days of the original Halo Combat
mhm,
Evolved stuff. Like, and that, like, it was just so
yeah.
cool.
No, he used to have videos for a bunch of videos for CE, as he tweeted here yesterday. Video of a pretty long video that I haven't got to watch yet. Was, I think, him and, was it Steve Vai, which was Steve Vai was the guitarist on the Halo 2 main theme. I think he used to even have videos of. I don't think he was ever credited because he wanted it kind of under the scenes. But John Mayer plays a little bit of music in, I'm forgetting what track it was for the Halo 2 soundtrack. So yeah, I mean, he used to have all this really cool behind the scenes stuff. What I really liked that he did with the Destiny stuff before it got taken down was every now and he'd put up kind of like, I think this would probably really cool for people out there that are looking to get into music and writing music and creating music, because he would do like his iterations. He'd be like, okay, here's this, a song that's familiar to Destiny players, one of like the main songs that you hear all the time. And he'd go, well, this is kind of how I built it, right? This was kind of how I started. And then I was like, oh, I need to add
Yeah.
this here. And then before you know it, usually it was like, his building it like through MIDI files and stuff. So it wasn't the whole like orchestra and stuff, but watching him work through it and talk through it was really cool. And again, it was cool to me, someone who doesn't write music. So I imagine anybody that writes music and creates music would be like, find this really helpful, right?
Mhm.
Kind of,
No, it's
get
just
into
good
the
stuff to
mind of
look
him.
at. And it's always fun to get behind the scenes looks, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that stuff.
Yeah. It's usually where you get a lot of the interesting things. There's still a
Mhm.
lot of really cool outtakes out there of some of the voice acting that they did for Halo CE, I think through Halo 3. So I think we've used it in one or two of our episodes too. But anyways,
Probably.
good times there. So
Yeah.
good for them. Hopefully, this just means we get more Halo music and themes from O'Donnell and Salvatore in future
Glad that
Halos.
they could get themselves paid.
Yep, yep. Last bit of Halo news here that we have is there was a small little update that coming in season 2, 343 is removing the handheld Scorpion cannon from the Halo
Wah,
campaign,
wah.
which is a bummer. I actually haven't gone out
I haven't
and
done that. I haven't played the
yeah,
campaign since I've finished it.
yeah, I wanted to go try it, but this was I really liked videos that were made with this because the cannon is invisible. So if you've ever seen a video of Halo Infinite where Chief isn't holding a rifle or any sort of firearm, he's probably got this cannon because he's holding this Scorpion cannon. It's just there's no visual model for it. So those videos are kind of funny and just kind of nice because he doesn't have a gun.
Yeah, it's cool stuff.
But yeah, so maybe
But they're
I'll have
fixing
to.
that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I'll have to hop in there and give it a try one of these times. So
Try it out just to like say you've done it.
yeah, I think it was pretty popular with lasso runners. Because
Oh, sure, sure.
I'm sure it
Because you
made
have
it
a
a lot easier.
scorpion that you're running around, a scorpion cannon that you're running around with. Yeah, I bet you could
Yeah,
knock over bosses pretty quick with that thing.
pretty. I'm sure it helped probably quite a bit because that's a pretty powerful gun cannon
Yeah, yeah.
cannon. So
Cool.
all right, moving on from one really cool game, big game, to a super game. I want
Super
to I
game.
I want to know what this is. We've been hearing this about Sega's super game for I want to say at least a year has been that I've been hearing about it, but there's like no information on it. We're getting little bits here, and we potentially kind of get a little bit better idea of it here in the past week. But it's just to me initially when I hear it, I just think of Microsoft's the initiative in their Quad A studio,
Sure,
right?
sure.
Like it's like
Yeah,
it's a triple A game, but plus one, right? Or plus an
right.
extra A. But the interesting thing here that again, this is kind of what we're getting from various articles and little like leaks and a little bit of information that comes through like earnings calls and things like that, is that it sounds like it could potentially actually be multiple games, not just like one big massive game or
Right.
something like that.
Right, because when you read through some of the stuff that they have that people have written about it, it's like it doesn't sound like it's really one thing in particular.
Yeah.
It's like so I think from the article that you have linked here, there's a little excerpt and they define a quote super game title to meet four main criteria. One, that it's multi-platform. Two, that it's a global multi-language development. So, okay, so it's a global title. Three, simultaneous worldwide release. Okay, so you launch it at the same time across the world. And four, triple A titles. Titles with an
Yeah.
S. Triple A titles. So I don't know. Yeah, does that mean that this is going to span several games? Are they creating like is this like a hint at like a metaverse kind of a thing?
That's the word I'm wondering if they're trying to stay away from due to
Right.
its
Just
current
because it's yeah, it's a
yeah.
flammable word.
And in all fairness, I know metaverse in the last year or so has been starting to be a common thing that's talked about, but again, I think the super game, potentially that word could have been used or started to be used about the same time metaverse is becoming popular, right? So maybe they just didn't have metaverse when they came up with this title. But the other weird thing is it in the same article they kind of call out where they're trying to find a way, like people don't just play games anymore, they also watch games, and they're trying to figure out a way to kind
Right.
of bring that relationship together. So again, as weird as it sounds, it's starting to feel like they're trying to create this metaverse with some of these titles.
With their titles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
what'll be interesting through the points that you just kind of read off there is I'm sure the simultaneous worldwide releases for whatever game they're talking about, but are they also trying to line up multiple games at the same time to release kind of at the same time? So I mean, that would probably suck for gamers if they're going to charge typical, $60 on it. But it like, is this just going to be kind of like Marvel does, where there's shows and movies where they're kind of spread out, or are they just going to drop the like 8 titles at once and somehow they're all going to work together in whatever this super game I don't know, however they interact or talk to each other or whatnot.
Or maybe it could be several titles built into one package, you know?
Yeah, it could be too.
That
I,
could be something that they like. I wouldn't put it past them to do something like that.
yeah, and I guess another thought too is this could be, maybe they're trying to implement by, like super game, is maybe they're going to have like a silly thing like, I don't know, like Fork Fight, right? But the way you get a lot of those cosmetics is they kind of go the Ubisoft route, the way Ubisoft, uh, I don't know if they still do. It's been a while since I bought one of their games, but if you, let's say, own Ghost Recon Wildlands and AC Origins and stuff like that, like you would automatically unlock cosmetics for other games, right? You might, what is it? I remember I had the Division, and it unlocked a cool little like, I forget what they like. I think there was a cleaner suit. I forget what the main people were called, but like there was a suit for that, all for Ghost Recon Wildlands, right? So that was kind of cool. So maybe there's something here where they'll be like, you play these other games and you kind of share, like, oh, you unlock different things for each game, like, oh, if there is some sort of like battle royale or fork fight type thing, like, oh, if you play like Crazy Taxi, you'll get some cool Crazy Taxi skins and vice versa. Which, speaking of Crazy Taxi, Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio reboots are rumored to be a part of this as well.
Yeah, that's why I think yeah, it could be possible that it's just like a big like Sega mega bundle or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That could be one of the things. Like maybe they do a big remaster, and instead of doing something like the Master Chief Collection, where it's just Halo games, they could do like the Sega Master Collection or the Sega
Yeah.
Super Collection, where they remaster a whole bunch of different like really beloved titles and release that as one mega package or something.
Mm-hmm.
Super
I
package.
I hope they're new games, not, again, I even said it in the chat today when I saw Jet Set Radio, because I never really
Oh, who
played
doesn't love? Yeah, who doesn't love Jet Set Radio?
I played more Jet Set Radio Future. I didn't have a
Mm-hmm.
Dreamcast to play Jet Set Radio, but yeah, I love Jet Set Radio Future, and there's very few times where I'll say I wish there was a remake or remaster, and that's one of them. I'd love for them to bring Jet Set Radio Future up to modern standards. So I would also be great if they made a new iteration in the game. So of the game, but yeah, I personally would prefer that, new iterations.
Right.
Like we've had Crazy Taxi, I think, remastered before. Didn't we get one of those 2 years ago? Something like that, 2 3 years ago.
I don't remember.
I
Crazy
thought we
Taxi's
did.
never been a franchise that I've really spent a lot of time with. Only from what I've seen in like arcades.
Mm-hmm. No, they were always kind of goofy games to play. You usually go
Right.
over to like a friend's house, they have it, you play a couple rounds, have a good time, and
Mm-hmm.
that's it. But no, it'll be interesting, and I'm definitely interested in learning more about this. And
Oh, absolutely. Like it seems interesting that they're going to. It sounds like they're trying to tackle something much bigger than just releasing another title for something.
yeah,
That they're trying to make something a lot. I don't even know how to say it, but other than it just like something much bigger than what they typically would release
Hmm.
for a game. And what we have to figure out what the super game means to them.
And we're going to find out that it is just a code word for metaverse.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be
Especially,
metaverse, NFTs, all that good stuff. Yeah.
yeah, especially too. I don't think this was in the articles, but I did put it in the notes here. If you remember, Sega was one of the companies talking about potentially using things like NFTs, blockchains, cloud gaming. So,
Yeah, I mean, I'm
uh,
not surprised.
yeah,
There's a lot of people who've been kind of jumping aboard that bandwagon.
yep,
Massive publishers getting on board that. Yeah,
yeah. Well, I'm
not
excited.
surprising.
Yeah, I'm excited to learn more, especially if there's a Jet Set Radio Future remake, remaster, or new iteration of it. So, I would absolutely love it. Talking about games that are like super old from like 20 years ago. I should. Oh, did I look this? I did. Oh, damn it! I looked up the definitive edition. Where did the 99? There you go. 1999.
1999. It was a good
So like,
year. That was a
yeah.
good year for video games.
So the game I'm referring to is Age of Empires 2, or in this case, what we'll be talking about is the definitive edition, which came out like
Mm-hmm.
I think 2-3 years ago. It's
Yep.
getting a this what is it 23-year-old game that's had an HD edition and now definitive edition,
Yep.
has been getting pretty consistent updates and now a new expansion called Dynasties of India. It's coming out on April 28th, so
That's
very soon.
cool.
It's going to have 3 new civilizations: the Bengals, the Dravidians,
The
then the
Bengalis.
oh, I was thinking the football team. They're going to have the
Yep. Wrong
Cincinnati
one.
Bengals,
Yep.
the Bengalis, the Dravidians, and the Gurjalis. I butchering the name. I apologize. And then 3 new campaigns, one for each of these civilizations, and a whole slew of new achievements. I think this is fantastic.
That
I
is
still.
awesome. Yeah, that is how you show love to a franchise that you've remastered. Is that like you
Mhm.
can continue, like you can also deliver new content to it. Oh my god, like that. The people who are in charge of Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition are doing everything with maintaining a classic game, and they're doing it right. Like
Yeah.
100% of the way they're doing it right. I'm actually like I've never been huge on playing Age of Empires campaigns. Like I barely played the one for I barely played any of the campaign for Age of Empires 4.
Hmm.
Uh, but I actually do want to try this just because like it's been so long since I've touched a campaign for Age of Empires 2 that like this is all new content. I'm kind of curious how they're able to tackle doing something like this in like a modern sense. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
design has changed very drastically in the last 20 something years, and it'll be interesting to see how they tackle making an entire expansion to this game.
Yeah. No, I mean they've had is it 2 or 3 now? They had
They had additional
Lords of
campaigns
the
like the
yeah,
cons or something, right?
they had Lords of the West here that was last January 2021, and I thought there was another one. Anyways, yeah, they've had a Dawn of the Dukes. I think that was it. There you go. I think that was it. And now Dynasties of India. This has been, if I remember the story correctly, this is the developers of this is Forgotten Empires,
Mhm.
and this is where I feel free to quote me and then or not quote me, go at me if I'm wrong, but I believe Forgotten Empires was actually a large modding team that built essentially an expansion that was kind of an unofficial expansion for Age of Empires 2. I believe it was HD edition, which came out like 11 years ago. I think it was somewhere around 2011, 2012. And then it was a modding community and team that just kept the community and the game kind of alive with some new content and updates and fixes and things like that Microsoft ended up hiring, and they're the ones that are working on this. So again, if memory serves correct, that's how it is. So I mean, this studio has been working on this game for a very long time, and so for them to add all this stuff and continue support for this game is just fantastic,
Yeah, it's
and
very appreciated.
I
It's
love it.
very,
I
very
love it. Yeah.
appreciated.
The only one complaint I will have, and I noticed this with because I'll play this on off regularly, kind of casually with a buddy, is they did adjust the AI a little bit one time, because we usually just use kind of an AI that's a challenge, but nothing crazy, because we're usually just we're buddies that live, states away, right? So we're usually kind of bullshitting while playing a game,
Sure.
and they ended up changing it one time, and we started getting our asses handed to us. We're like, "What did you do?" It's like, he's like, "Did you accidentally change it?" I was like, "No, like it saves the settings and we practically play the same settings, every time we play." I was like, "No, it hasn't changed. It's the same, whatever it was." And I'm like, "Damn, okay, we'll have to bump it down one, I guess."
And it just
or we got
whooped your ass.
or we got to start paying attention a little bit more and actually really really focusing on it. But yeah, no, it's a great game. uh and again, the fact that it's 23 years old is just, it's 23 years old, but and obviously the definitive
But it
edition
still
is,
gets new content, which is so
yeah,
great.
and the community's pretty active, because they do a lot of events, and I think they still have a lot of like competitions and tournaments and things like that. So it's just great to see that, in my opinion, the best Age of Empires game is still getting support. So
Mm-hmm. Yep. They know where everybody they know what the people love, and that's more Age of Empires 2.
yeah. Oh God, I would love. I
All
would
right,
love.
well,
I
I'm gonna have to jump on this at some point, and we're gonna have to play, and maybe we'll be able to bump the difficulty up or something.
Yeah. Just play the Huns, and you don't have to worry about building houses. So
There you
for
go.
for your villagers.
Yep.
But yeah, so another thing, we've chatted about this before, but it kind of hit me after reading an article on GameSpot this week, is the Nvidia leak from last summer, I think
Last
it
year.
was.
Yep.
Yeah.
We talked
uh,
about it a bit.
yeah,
Yep.
Nvidia was hacked last year, I think something with their GeForce software drivers and stuff like that, and these hackers were able to get this large list of games. And at the time, it was like it could have been anything, right? There was a lot of stuff on there, or a few things that were known, but most of the stuff was just kind of like, oh, this is probably rumors, some weird random, kind of placeholder stuff. Well, it kind of, reading this article reminded me that there are actually a lot of the games that were listed on there have now either been released
Mm. Mm-hmm.
or been announced. So it
Yep.
kind of had me go back and look a little bit. There's still plenty of games on there. Um, but it got me thinking, like, well, how real is this list? Is it like, are all these games actually games that are in active development? And I just thought it was kind of really interesting, because it got me excited, because a couple of the games on this list are games such as
Gear
Titanfall 3,
6.
Gears 6. So it's exciting for Gears 6, but that's one we knew was coming.
Sure.
A
But
big one
Titanfall
from,
3, you were. Yeah.
yeah, because that's kind of been up in the air since Apex took off, right?
Right.
Now Remedy, or not Remedy, Respawn
Respawn.
has their own studio focused on Apex. My hope is that they're, I guess, aside from making the new Star Wars game, they're also making a Titanfall 3. But some of the other kind of highlights here are things like Monster Hunter 6, Halo 5 Guardians. Now, it doesn't say PC, but thinking about Halo, it's the only Halo that doesn't have a PC launch. So again,
Yep.
something in the realm of possibility. Resident 4 remake, and we've seen rumors of that kind of churning. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just kind of interesting to see that a lot of these games, or we could potentially hope that a lot of these games are actually real and on the horizon. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
I would be very happy to see a Titanfall 3. And I
Ah,
think with how successful Apex is, um, I think that there would be a lot of love for Titanfall 3 as well.
yep. It's I personally am still a fan of the multiplayer of one better, but the campaign in two was fantastic. So if they could
Mm-hmm.
make a way to
That's one
make
of
a
those,
fan,
like, yeah.
they make a good campaign like two, and good multiplayer like one. Two's multiplayer wasn't bad. It was a mechanic they added to it that I wasn't a biggest fan of, the whole being able to steal a battery from a Titan and go take it to another. But whatever, that was just me. But yeah, I'd love a Titanfall 3. I love those games. Of the first two, it was so much fun.
Mm-hmm. Same. I was a big
But
fan.
the other thing on this list that kind of got me thinking was, and you said it before we started the show here, that this was apparently announced before. I didn't know it, but a Half-Life 2 remaster.
Right. Yeah, that's I think August of last year we got like an article or something like that about talking about how it wasn't going to be being like that there was a Half-Life 2 remaster in the works, but it wasn't Valve doing it at the time.
Hmm.
But yeah, that was yeah, I think that was talked about as early as like August last year. From
Yeah.
what that's just from memory. I haven't kept up with it at all, so there might be more recent news, but yeah, that's not entirely a new thing.
It was new to me because apparently, with all
It's
my
new to you,
news
yeah.
reading and a rumor reading and leaks reading that I get to, I hadn't seen it. But the reason
Yeah.
it kind of got me excited and got me thinking is in the last couple of years, we've gotten Half Life Alex. We've
Yep.
got this potential Half Life 2 remaster coming. And we've recently had Valve mention how, thankfully, they're getting back into making games. So it just, you know, after what was it, 2007 was Half Life 2, episode 2. Anyways, it's just getting me hopeful for a
Probably.
potential Half Life 3. That,
It's
maybe
not
that
gonna happen.
they're working on Half Life stuff again. Uh, maybe, just maybe, we might actually get one. Or at least an episode 3.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. I really don't. The hype is too big that it just would never reach people's expectations.
To be was that Duke Nukem Forever? Wasn't that it? The one that everybody, the hype level was so high it came out, it was just not
Well, there's,
great.
I mean, you could point at CD Projekt Red or at Cyberpunk or at No Man's
Hmm.
Sky or something like that. Just the hype train, just the mere announcement of a Half-Life 3 would break the internet and cause the hype train to like spiral into a tornado. And
But
yeah,
what if they were working on one and it came out and it was a legit
and it blew
Half
our
Life game?
mind away, then I
Yeah,
color me impressed. I
I just wanted to. It would just need to be good. It wouldn't have to be some like groundbreaking, crazy. Just kind of like Alex. Now that was a VR game, but like that was
It
just
was
a good
very
Half
good
Life
though.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
I
just
mean
a
it
good
was a
Half
good
Life game.
yeah, it was a very good Half-Life game, and it was a good VR game, and it kind of as a nice proof of concept showed that like narrative driven VR games are totally a thing, and that
Yeah,
they're actually a lot of fun. Alex was great, man. Oh
yeah.
my
It
god, that was so much fun.
it got a Campfire podcast thumbs up. I loved it. It's to me, and I said at the time when we chatted about it, was it's the first. I don't do a ton with VR, but it was the first VR game for me that was like, this is legit. We finally have, to me, a game that like
Mm-hmm.
is good, used all the cool things about VR correctly, and yeah, and then it was just a fun story, a fun Half Life story. So.
Yep. The only problem with it though is that it's a VR, right? And VR is expensive.
Hmm.
You can't really
And
do a mass release on a VR set.
yeah, and for me, I have the Oculus Rift. I think the
Mm-hmm.
first one. So for me, I just hate, like, I have a decent sized desk, but I have 3 monitors. So throwing a bunch of those little motion camera things everywhere, and then trying to find space behind it to be able to. Because and the one thing I loved about Alex and that is that uh, you physically could stand up and kind of walk around, in your little play space, and that would translate to the game. So
Mm-hmm.
I really like that because it was fun to kind of get up, walk around, stand up, crouch, all that fun stuff to shoot combine and other, what were the bugs and stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I'm gonna at least keep that hope alive. So
You know what? You can keep dreaming. I honestly don't think it's ever going to happen. I think they're
ye-
done. I think they're done making Half-Life games.
oh, come on, we need to have an Alex too, right?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I'll be hopeful enough for the both of us. How's that? This way you
You know
don't have
what?
to worry about it.
Yeah, that's fine. You can take all my hype and you can pocket that. I will be over in my corner just being cynical and not thinking that they're going to actually make a Half-Life 3. I think it's been far too long.
We will see. We will see.
By the time they actually release it, nobody's going to know what Half-Life is anymore.
Well, I mean, the important people, me, I'll know what it is.
Oh, okay.
They're
Well,
making
all
it for
right
me.
then.
I called Gabe, Lord Gabe, and asked
And
that.
you're just like, hey man, hook me up.
Just give me Half-Life 3, man. I don't care if it's just slap a 3 on the Half-Life 2 remaster and we'll call it good. But anyways,
I'm sure he'll be right on that.
yeah. That's kind of the core of our episode here, the big stuff here. But we do have a few more smaller things left to chat about here, so we'll get to those here. We mentioned this, I think, a couple weeks ago,
Yep.
but I wanted to kind of remind you. I know I had to jump in and actually, I haven't had this launcher downloaded in forever,
I don't
but
think I ever did.
the Bethesda.net launcher is going away. Reminder
Woo!
to, if you have games or any funds in your wallet, starting April 27th, you will be able to migrate all of that over to Steam. So this is kind of a reminder and to kind of chat about it. I think this got pushed back a week. I think that was originally supposed to come out this week, but for some reason got pushed back. But
Hmm.
you will have about what is that? I think about 2 weeks ish there, 3 weeks ish there to transfer everything over, because on May 11th, the launcher will be no longer functional. So also, definitely, if you have some of the older games, hop on their FAQ. They have a really good FAQ. There, they were saying a majority of games will have their saves that will come over with you, but there are some games that you will probably manually want to transfer if you still have saves for them. So go check that out.
Hmm. Another,
Uh,
like I said, another one bites the dust, man. It's just
yep.
we gotta start peeling back on these launchers. I'm excited about this.
Yeah. No, yeah. Everybody should just use Steam. So
Yep.
make it easy.
Yep.
Valve's
Steam.
not making games anyways, so why do they're
Yeah,
just making a
exactly. Just put it on
storefront and
Steam.
hardware.
Yeah.
Some good. I'm gonna. Is this technically a rumor or just kind of a leak? Yeah, I guess it's just a leak. A Game Boy
It is a
Advance
leak.
emulator
Yeah.
has been spotted. That'll be potentially coming to the Nintendo Switch. So I didn't really play Game Boy Advance. I didn't have one. I think I ended at Game Boy Color. So, but this sounded like you and someone else on our Discord were chatting about this. So you seemed
Hmm.
pretty excited about this one.
Yeah, it was like myself and Mike and yeah, there was a couple of other people chiming in talking about how excited that this or how exciting this would be. Mainly because they had I believe, a bunch of titles that they were associating with this emulator leak as well. So things like, I believe, Golden Sun popped up here, which would be really cool, and the sequel to Golden Sun, so Lost Age. There's a Fire Emblem Game and Watch. There's Mega Man Battle Network 2, which was very fun. I did like that game a lot. Um, Super Mario Bros. 3 for the GBA. Like, there's a few of these games that would be pretty sweet if that ended up making it to the Nintendo Switch Online service. Still, don't know if I would be on board with, like, I like that idea, but I feel like just given how vast this library is, needs to be more before I decide to sign up for it. So,
Yeah,
not entirely sold yet. Granted, it's just a leak.
and
There could be more.
you're specifically talking about the expansion pack, right?
Correct. My
Okay.
guess would be is that that's exactly what they would put it on
Yeah.
too. It would be the expansion pack.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that years ago that they should do something similar to Game Pass, and that's kind of what this
Yeah, just
hopefully will
dump
end
the
up
whole
being.
library on it. Yep.
You
Just
know,
dump the whole library. Let me download whatever it is. You can, have emulator apps on the Nintendo Switch and then just let me download the game onto my Switch and play it. And
yeah. No, it's
yep,
pretty
that would be
cool,
sick.
and it would, especially if they keep it around. What is that? $60, I think, for a year, 50, $60 for
Yeah.
the Nintendo Online
I
Plus
thought it was like
expansion pack.
30 or something like that. It's pretty cheap. It's like 30, 45, something like that.
Hmm.
It's not that
But
expensive.
it starts being worth it, right? The more and more
Right.
stuff they
The
add to it,
more
right?
stuff that they add to it, the more tempted I am to
Hmm.
subscribe. Yes.
And our the fan favorite around here, Game Pass. I remember in the early days, it was kind of a similar thing. Is like, obviously being, I drink the Kool-Aid for Microsoft, so I was all on board. But obviously, the wider gaming community was a little, they weren't sure, right? Because they had a good offering of games, but it wasn't the greatest at the start, right? It wasn't until they started adding, more and more third party, a lot more of their first parties started hitting. They added in things like EA Play and some of those
Right.
other PC, that it started
Mhm.
the value, the how much you paid and the value you got out of it was like, now it's just like, why don't you have it, right?
Right, exactly. It's that good that it's just like you might as well have it because there's so many games on it that you would probably play at some point that you would make it worth it
Yeah.
with very little effort.
Yeah, so hopefully that's kind of what Nintendo's doing, and they kind of keep adding a lot of that cool, backwards compatible stuff, their older library onto the expansion pack. Because I currently don't have a reason to own or subscribe to the online service yet. So, but the
Mhm.
the more of this stuff that they keep adding, it's starting to get tempting.
Yep.
On to some more rumors. I love talking about this. You might be sick of it, Rich. I apologize. This is another one of those games that I'm hopeful for, but I think in the end I'll be disappointed. But more rumors popped up for Dead Island 2 this week. We've heard that it's still in active development and it'll be coming soon and all that stuff. But the new news is that uh, uh, journalist Colin Moriarty was say, I guess, had some information that he he thinks that it could be revealed pretty soon, or kind of a re-reveal, right? I think this was originally revealed back in like 2015 or 2016,
Long
right?
time ago. Yeah.
But it's seen like four different developers since.
It's
But
been in development hell for like almost a decade,
yeah,
roughly. It's probably getting close. Yeah.
it's been a while. So he believes that there's going to be a reveal soon, and that it potentially could hit by the end of the year. It's that far along in development
Hmm.
apparently, and Deep Silver is pretty happy with it. So
Well,
I'm hopeful.
we'll
I
see.
Yeah, I love the first one. I had a ton of fun with it. If it could be kind of like that, just newer, I'm all for it. So hopefully it's good. And what better time to potentially release a zombie game than in September or October this year? So, right, good times.
Good times.
Some other actually hot off the press news today. Sky it was announced that Skydance New Media, which is part of Skydance Media, I was reading, will be teaming up with Lucasfilm Games to create a new action adventure Star Wars game. That in itself is exciting. What's even more exciting, I guess, depending on your opinion, is Amy Hennig is going to be leading the project. If you remember her, she had her hands in Uncharted 1 through 4 over at Naughty Dog, and she
Yep.
was working for a little while at
Ragtag.
Ragtag. I'm sure. Oh, what studio was that?
Visceral.
Visceral. I was thinking Vicarious Visions, but
No. Nope. Visceral, the
Visceral.
one that died.
Yeah, but yeah, Visceral on Project Ragtag. So
Yeah, no, that's good.
yeah, so there's some good news here. That's all we know. There wasn't really any information on like timelines or if it's in development. Heck, it could still be in like pre-production, So for all we know, but yeah, good news there. Hopefully a good Star Wars game coming soon.
No, that's good for her though. We like Amy Hennig.
Yeah, she did. The Uncharted series is still just fantastic.
Well,
So
that and she got robbed of her chance to do a Star Wars game when she was working on Ragtag. So now I'm glad that she's getting a second shot at doing a fun Star Wars game.
yep,
And I
we
guarantee,
got
like, I think they're gonna crush it. Honestly, like, I
yeah.
do think that they're gonna make something really, really fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear more about it. So, unfortunately, I feel like it's one of those things we won't hear about it for like another year. Again, unless I'm wrong and it's actually has been in development for a while, but uh, really there wasn't much in the little news announcement there. So,
Hmm.
little update for CD Projekt Red. They came out this week and mentioned that obviously they're very happy with the 1.5 update for Cyberpunk 2077, as well as bringing it to the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series systems. They also mentioned that they are working on a new story expansion for it, so more content incoming there. Unfortunately, you will have to wait until 2023 before that hits. So I don't know. I own this game, but I'm still kind of holding off on giving it a try. I might
Yeah,
wait
I
until.
haven't bought it. I haven't tried it yet. I mean, it looks kind of interesting, but I mean, Honestly, I gotta dip through Elden Ring first before I think I
Hmm.
tackle this one.
I bought it when it was like $5 or $10 at Best Buy around Christmas because I figured I'll probably play this at some point, and figured what better, it's $5 or whatever. Who cares, right? I'll hold on to it till it's playable.
Sure.
So also, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt updated version that was, I think PC was going to get some of this, but was mainly for the Xbox Series and PlayStation 5. Development for that has been moved in house. A lot of people were initially worried at this announcement, thinking it might be in development hell. CD Projekt Red hasn't said why, but they definitely said it's not because it's actually pretty far along, and I guess pretty close to being released. Just they need to bring it in house for some reason. So no, don't worry, it's not in development hell. If you were looking forward to this, but it will be delayed from their initial. I think it was supposed to be like a Q3 or Q4 release. So
Yeah. I'm actually kind of surprised by that too. I mean, so Saber Interactive was the one working on this project that it got taken away from, and
yeah,
Saber is the one that did the Halo, the was it? It was Saber, right?
yeah, it
Saber
was
Interactive that did the
say
Halo CE port to PC.
they've Saber is like actually kind of similar to certain Affinity. They've had their hands in quite a bit of Halo.
They
Uh,
have,
they
yeah.
they were, I believe, the company that did the Halo CE anniversary and Halo 2 anniversary. The engine, the graphical engine that runs over top of the main game.
Mm,
If you ever played either of those games, you can switch between old graphics and new graphics.
right.
I believe they were the ones that worked on the campaigns for those. So yeah, I mean, I'm curious as to why. Maybe this was just one of those like they got it far enough along, but then CD Projekt Red, due to their kind of reshuffling of everything after the debacle that was Cyberpunk 2077 launch, that they're starting to kind of rearrange projects. Maybe it was just like, hey, we want to pull this in house and we'll finish it ourselves, or if there were issues with Saber Interactive. We can only guess at this point, so because we don't know for
True.
sure.
Right.
But yeah, it was a kind of a interesting note that they took it off of Saber Interactive's hands.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a PC, definitely go buy this game because you can definitely get a really neat mod to get some kind of an HD upgrade, anyways, and it'll look fantastic on PC. This is a great game, and you should play it. It's at least Matt approved. Rich hasn't played it yet, so we can't say it's Campfire approved. So
Right. I have not played. I've actually never played any Witcher games before.
I only ever played the third one here, so
Mm.
I thought about doing 1 and 2. I was like, no, let me go find a story so far kind of video on YouTube, and that's what I did. So last bit of information here. I'm actually kind of looking forward to this. We'll see if I can squeeze it in between all the other games I'm playing. But Bug Snacks is coming to Xbox Game Pass on April 28th. It's also releasing on Nintendo Switch the same day, but it's coming to Game Pass on the 28th, and it will include the Isle of Big Snacks, a new free content update that's coming to all systems, including PlayStation as well. But I don't know if you've looked at videos for this. This looks like a weird,
It's
fun
the
game.
game. I mean, I remember when we watched it with our E3 viewing party that we did, and yeah, that was the general sentiment is that it looks weird.
But it looks kind of fun. So it's all about like capturing, different animals and bugs and stuff, but it's all based on like food. But you can also
Mm-hmm.
like, there's something like you can use that food to modify the villagers around. It's so weird.
So you
But
just got what, like a week? Yeah, you got about a
yeah,
week
I guess,
before
yeah,
that
about a
comes to
week.
Game Pass.
Yeah, about a week before it comes out. So yeah, so
Well, we'll
looking,
have to try it. Do a
yeah,
live
looking
stream
forward
of
to
it.
that.
That'd be fun.
That's what I should do. We got to get back into live streaming. But yeah,
True. It's a matter of
but
time. Matter of time.
yeah, we got a lot of moving going on between us. So,
Yes, yes.
but yeah, I think that's about it. Do you have anything else we want to chat about here?
No, I don't think so. I mean, hey, we made it through a whole episode and we didn't shit on anything.
Well, now that you're saying,
while, while I mention that, go check out our Halo the TV series reviews.
we try to be positive, but that
Yes.
that that Quan plot. Oh.
Oh
Anyways,
man.
go listen to our
Chicory
episode there.
next week. We're going to be
Yes,
wrapping up our book club and we're going to be recording our book club episode. We're going to have the individual who suggested Chicory on
join us.
he will be joining us on that episode. So that'll be fun. So if you want to be on the Campfire Gaming podcast as well, come on to our Discord and suggest a book club. If we pick your book club, it's a good chance we're probably going to bring you on board.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. Have you started playing Chicory yet?
I have not, because I've been
Oh,
busy. I got to start that this weekend.
yeah. No, it's I think I'm almost done. I think I have 2 trials left and then the final mission. But anyways, don't want to say too much to spoil it for you or anybody
Yes.
else listening. But it's a fun game. I'm kind of enjoying it so far. But
Cool.
on that note, just a reminder, check out our website, campfiregamingpodcast.com. You can find links to our Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Obviously, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love if you support us with likes and follows and all that typical social media stuff. You know how it goes. So, but most importantly, we keep repping it because we like having you aboard. Please come join our Discord. Again, we love bullshitting with you guys throughout the week. So,
Talk
uh,
games with us, please.
yeah, it's a good time. So we have a lot of fun. But on that note, Rich, thanks for joining me, and
Thank
everybody
you,
else,
Matt.
thank you for listening to this week's episode, and we will see you next time around the campfire.